Hello everyone, in this video we're going to draw a hawk. Start by drawing a circle as a guide for the front part of the body. To draw the circle, first make two small marks to indicate the circle's length, and then on the sides make two more small marks to indicate the circle's width. Then connect the marks using curved lines to finish the shape of the circle. The circle doesn't have to be perfect, but if you're having trouble drawing it, just trace the outer edge of a coin, a bottle cap, or anything else with a circular edge. On the lower left side, make a small mark to indicate the back portion of the body. Connect the small mark to the circle using curved lines to finish the guide for the back portion of the body. This guide is basically a big arc on its side. Sketch lightly at first so that it's easy to erase if you make a mistake. Also, pause the video to draw at your own pace. On the top right side, draw a small circle as a guide for the head. Use the 4 marks method to draw this circle too. Pay attention to how small this circle is in relation to the rest of the body. Don't place the head too far away from the body or the neck will be too long. On the right side of the head, draw a curved line as a guide for the beak. This guide should be similar to a small arc on its side. Connect the head to the body using curved lines to create the guide for the neck. Curve the middle section of the top line. The bottom line should be longer than the top line. Under the body, draw a long angled line as a guide for the leg. Bend the line at the top to indicate a joint. At the bottom, draw a small arc as a guide for the toes. On the lower left side of the body, draw a long triangular shape as a guide for the tail. The top part of the tail should be wide and the bottom should be thin and pointy. The tail should be roughly the same length as the body. And that's it for the guidelines. Now let's start on the final drawing. Inside the head, lightly sketch a small circle for the eye. Place the eye a bit higher than the center of the head. Pay attention to the size of the eye in relation to the head. When you get the size and position of the eye right, draw a short line at the top for the brow. Now darken the small circle. Make the sides pointier as you darken the shape for the corners of the eye. Inside the eye, off to the side, draw a tiny circle for a highlight. In the middle of the eye, draw a bigger circle and shade it in for the pupil. Pay attention to the size of the pupil in relation to the eye. If you'd like, you can make the pupil slightly smaller. Now shade the rest of the eye. Use a value that's lighter than the pupil for the eye. Don't overlap the tiny highlight circle as you shade. You can use a dark value at the top and a lighter value at the bottom of the eye for a rounder shape. Draw a couple of curved lines around the eye for the eyelid and wrinkles. Now use the arc on the right side as a guide to draw the beak. First, darken the top part of the arc. Follow the path of the arc, but at the bottom, extend the line downward to create the tip of the beak. The tip of the beak should extend outside of the arc. Angle the line back up into the arc and then curve it to the left to create the mouth. The left tip of the mouth should be directly under the eye. Sketch lightly at first and only darken the line when you get the shape right. make the shape of the mouth a bit wavy. Pay attention to how far down the tip of the beak curves. Draw the bottom part of the beak using a curved line. Add an angled line on the left side for the base of the beak. Follow the curvature of the initial arc as you draw this part of the beak. Now draw a curved line around the mouth for more of the beak. On the left side, draw a series of short strokes for the feathery base of the beak. The base of the beak should be very close to the eye. Inside the top part of the beak, draw a small oval-like shape for the nostril. Now use the other shapes and lines as guides to draw the rest of the head. Darken the top edges of the initial guides to create the top part of the head. Extend the line farther to the right to make the head longer. Darken the bottom edges of the guides to create the neck. Use short strokes to create a feathery texture. Lightly sketch a big curved shape across the entire body for the folded wing. The top of the wing should be very close to the top edge of the body. A small section of the wing should be outside of the guides on the top left side. When you get the shape of the wing right, darken the lines. Add a thin pointy shape on the left side of the wing for feathers. The bottom edge of the wing should touch the guide for the leg. Curve the bottom edge of the wing for more feathers. On the top left side, draw a thin pointy shape for the tip of the other folded wing. Draw this shape similar to the tip of the first folded wing. Sketch lightly at first and only darken the lines when you get the shape right. Draw a series of short lines across the wing for feathers. Curve the lines so that they're similar to the letter J. Above that, draw another row of short curved lines for more feathers. Add a few short lines on the tip of the other wing too. Now use the angled line under the body as a guide to draw the leg. First, draw a wide shape around the top part of the guide for the base of the leg. The top part of this shape should be directly under the wing. Use short strokes on the left side for a feathery texture. This shape should be wide at the top and gradually get thinner toward the bottom. Lightly sketch the rest of the leg around the bottom half of the guide. Draw the sides of the leg close to the guide so that the shape is thin. At the bottom, draw a couple of short curved shapes around the initial arc for the toes. When you get these shapes right, darken the lines. On the tip of each toe, draw a thin triangular shape for the talons. As you darken the toes, draw short lines along the path for texture. The toes should be thin, but the tips should be wider and rounder. Draw an extra short curved line on the right side for another toe. Add another small triangular shape at the bottom for the talon. Hawks have big talons, so don't make these triangular shapes too small. Add a curved line on the right side for the visible part of another toe. On the right side, draw the other leg the same way. Start with a wide shape at the top for the feathery base of the leg. Then draw the rest of the leg at the bottom. Sketch lightly at first and only darken the lines when you get the shapes right. This leg should be slightly smaller than the first leg. Draw a few curved shapes at the bottom for the toes. On the tip of each toe, draw a small triangular shape for the talons. Use the first leg as a template as you draw this leg. Draw a few wavy lines under the feet to create a rock for the hawk to perch on. Now use the remaining shapes and lines as guides to draw the rest of the body. Simply darken the outer edges of the guides to create the shape of the body. Don't overlap the leg that's on this side as you draw the underside of the body. Add a few short strokes on the neck for a feathery texture. Draw short strokes to the left of the legs for more texture. Use the big triangular shape on the left side as a guide to draw the tail. Darken the guide but make the shape thinner along the bottom. Use a series of short strokes along the base for a feathery texture. The right side of the shape should be wide and the left side thin. Now erase the initial guidelines. The next few steps are sped up so that the video isn't too long. Don't worry about erasing all of the guidelines, it's okay if you leave some behind. Redraw any of the final lines that you may have accidentally erased. Now shade your drawing. Use a medium value all over the body. Shade lightly at first and gradually build up to darker values. For light values, push down very lightly on your pencil, then push down harder for darker values. The wing and the base of the legs should be a bit lighter than the rest of the body. Add a series of darker oval-like shapes across the wing for the pattern on the feathers. Slowly and gradually build up to a darker value. As you shade, use strokes that go in the direction of the feathers. Use a light value for the beak but a dark value for the tip. Add dark values along the underside of the shapes for shadows. Draw a few lines on the legs for texture. Shading can be time-consuming, so be patient and take breaks. It's a good idea to use reference as you shade for a more accurate depiction of a hawk. Keep shading until you're happy with the result. And that's it for the hawk. Don't forget to pause the video to draw at your own pace. Also, please visit howtodrawanimals.com where every step of this tutorial is broken down into an individual image. That's how, and then the number 2, then drawanimals.com. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and a comment. Also subscribe for more videos in the future. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep drawing.